Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm how are you?
Good. Indeed.
Good.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Good. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I think Pandora was going to try to come in, but she probably just running a little late. So I'll go ahead and mute you and we'll get started.
Okie dokie.
All right. Here we go. Ready? Already, small, almost, paid, world, Sunday, weather, early, buy, everything, remittance, opportunity, goods, large, open, Saturday, letters, doubt, gone, 5, perhaps, second, prompt, can't, accept, near, do, giving, within, wanted, whole, imagine, sort, market, till, wife, memorandum, Monday. All right. A phrase drill. We've got I can, she can the, he can, it can you, can I, you can, we can he. Here are your sentences. It can be done. He can do it. Can he get permission? Can I take some home? Can you answer the question? Can he work tomorrow? Can I see it again? Can the account be opened? It can be credited to your account. She can keep them until you can use them. He can take a lot of credit. Can the car make the hill? We can come tomorrow. Can he build it? She can sew. All right, so here's a basic brief review from theory. We've got this, can, until, account, many, credit. And here are your sentences. Thomas is a credit to the school. Have many of you read the new plan? Many of the accounts need to have the credits reviewed. This would seem to be the best plan until next week. The accountants recommended waiting until fall. Who is your accountant? There are many problems in this accounting system. This company can maintain 2 accounts. Can we wait until November? Pay off the creditors. We will hold this until Friday. Can this be credited to our account? This is certainly to his credit. The accountant posted the amount to this account. This account is closed. Credit this to this account. Many of us voted for this. Do many of you have accounts here? All right, so states and numbers. Here we go. Idaho, 6,527. Massachusetts, 5,792. Arizona, 1,318. Delaware, 9,225. South Carolina, 1,810. Indiana, 8,412. Alabama, 25,025. California, 35,129. Florida, 3,103. Arkansas, 9,894. Pennsylvania, 9,852. Illinois, 8,931. Alaska, 2,143. Connecticut, 12,326. Georgia, 7,118. Hawaii, 189. Rhode Island, 4,517, and Colorado, 14,720. All right, so these are going to just be multi-stroke words. Most of them are just 2 strokes. I'm going to give them to you at a faster pace since they're basic words, but just 2 strokes. Okay, here we go. Reverse, prepare, origin, invoke, emerge, across, remain, resist, tightly, teacher, rebate, retail, process, revise, working, absorb, coffee, leader, neutral, prairie, afford, really, protect, farmers, summer, hammer, famous, diamond, picture, sorry about that, that was my printer, family, candid, window, jacket, surface, prudent, sandwich, billfold, glory, transom, loading, locate, lumber, confine, sodium, rampant, forest, animal, illness, extreme, pattern, anchor, podium, winter, consent, catalog, plastic, furtive, button, golden, walnut, abort, curly, jiffy, climax, demean, ballad, Japan, ensign, or ensign, sorry, entrance, silver, tenant, perturb, inget, peanut, sputter, winter, fathom, octave, hammock, escape. All right. Now, I've got some consonant compounds in sentences. This focuses on initial consonants SH. Here we go. She shouted shucks for the sheer fun of it. The shirt maker shortened the shoulder and the shirt tail. Sherry shampoos her sheepdog every week. The shanty shook because of the shoddy workmanship. The shamrock was sheltered in the showroom. Shiftless sharks shudder and shake. Seashells are sold by the seashore. The shyster had a sharp, shrewd mind. The short story should help us shed the shackles of boredom. This is a show place with ships and shipyards. Shear the sheep and put the fleece in the shed. The man shuddered when the surgeon removed the shard from his shin. The shepherd suffered from shell shock. Shiftless people are often guilty of shilly-shallying. He swung the shyster and shattered the shelves. The sharecropper was also a shareholder and a sharpshooter. He shoved his foot in the shoe with a shoehorn. It is hard to get shut-eye during Shrovetide. Should I show him how to shovel the snow? The shuttlecock hit his shoulder, and he said, shucks. All right. We'll do some names and addresses. All right, here we go. Karen Ann Dodd, D-O-D-D, Shape American High School, New York, New York, 09088. Mr. Michael S. Baker, B-A-K-E-R, 6060 Thompson Clark Road, Bristolville, Ohio, 44502. Mr. Christopher L. Welch, WELCH, 2862 West 57th Place, Meredith, Indiana, 46410. Dr. Lee A. Schrader, SCHRADER, Director of Counseling, Sunny College of Technology, 811 Court Street, Utica, New York, 13502. Gail C. Bethune, BETHUNE, Canton Independent School District, 225 West Elm Street, Canton, Texas, 75103. Mr. Carey G. Yates, YATES, 10873 Franks Road, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44020. Monica Mary DeQuardo, DEQUARDO, Franciscan of Christian Charity, 2242 South Moreland Road, New Berlin, Wisconsin, 53151. Ms. Barbara H. Tuttle, RN, TUTTLE, Quaboag Regional Hospital, River Street, Warren, Massachusetts, 01083. Ms. Kirsten Y. Yader, YAIDER, 112 Boulder Street, Nevada City, California, 95959. Okay, let's do one last, actually two. We've got two things left. Sorry about that. I'm going to give you some Tangle Tamers and then some word families that all start with Miss. All right, so let's do the Tangle Tamers first. Here we go. Demanding abolishment, heart, lung resuscitator, campaign to maintain, double-decker train, clamoring for independence, commemorative whistles, international criticism, institutional investigation, forcibly annexed, gustatory delights, grungily industrial, natural causes, program coordinator, disguised guerrillas, opposition unrest, advisory board, suspension automatic, budgetary gridlock. All right. Let's do our last drill. These are word families. I feel like my hair is sticking in my sweater. These are word families that all start with miss. Okay, so we have mismanage, misfit, mistake, misread, misprint, misplace, misdemeanor. I write that as miffed. That's why I was thinking about it. Misuse, mislead, mismanage, misunderstood, mistrial, miscellaneous. Here are your sentences. The accused did misuse the victim. The bank made a mistake when they computed the quarterly interest. Did Carla Johnston make a computational mistake, or did Sam Taylor make the mistake? Does he misunderstand the charges against him? Misuse of funds is a serious offense. Did he misread the program? I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. Was a mistrial declared in the Barrows case? I think you misread the instructions. She described her brother as a misfit. The judge declared a mistrial. The statement in the paper was a misprint. There was a misprint in the journal. She did mismanage her household finances. Did they misplace the documents? How did you manage to misplace your car keys? Was Kyle charged with a misdemeanor? He was guilty of a misdemeanor. Do you think he will try to mislead the police officer? He is attempting to mislead the witness. Put the miscellaneous books and magazines in the attic. All right. Now I've got some legal terms and then I have a paragraph for you. I'm going to read this once at 120, then again at 140, and then the last time at 160. Okay. So you're going to hear legal. I write that as L long E-L. Collateral, tender, promissory, security, pledged, note, payer, instrument, negotiable, maker, check, payee, exchange, draft. Okay, here we go. First time at 120. A check is a negotiable instrument used to transfer money from one person to the other. Any form of legal tender must be accepted as payment. A bill of exchange is called a draft. A promissory note is a written promise to pay a specified sum on a specific date. Security that is pledged for a note is called collateral. The payee is the person to whom a check, draft, or a note is made payable. The one who orders payment is the maker. The one who pays the check, draft, or note is the payer. All right, so second time at 140. A check is a negotiable instrument used to transfer money from one person to the other. Any form of legal tender must be accepted as payment. A bill of exchange is called a draft. A promissory note is a written promise to pay a specified sum on a specific date. Security that is pledged for a note is called collateral. The payee is the person to whom a check, draft, or note is made payable. The one who orders payment is the maker. The one who pays the check, draft, or note is the payer. Okay, last time at 160. A check is a negotiable instrument used to transfer money from one person to the other. Any form of legal tender must be accepted as payment. A bill of exchange is called a draft. A promissory note is a written promise to pay a specified sum on a specific date. Security that is pledged for a note is called collateral. The payee is the person to whom a check, draft, or a note is made payable. The one who orders payment is the maker. The one who pays the check, draft, or note is the payer. All right. Now, I've got an article here on earthquakes. You're going to hear gigantic, dislocation, Japan, seismology, interplays, South America, volcanoes, scientists, propounded, cracking, earthquake, seismology, seismograph. I think I said geological. Looks like that's it. All right, so I'm going to start this. This is like 4 paragraphs. I'm going to start at 120 and I'll work my way to 160, okay? The crust of the earth is constantly changing. Gigantic forces are continually at work reshaping the rocks of which the crust consists, moving them, bending them, and cracking them. We are not aware of this gradual process until the day an earthquake occurs. Earthquakes are a common occurrence in some areas of the world, such as California, South America, and Japan. Hundreds of quakes take place each day, but they are so minor that they are not even felt. The study of earthquakes is called seismology. The instrument to measure the intensity of an earthquake is the seismograph. The great majority of earthquakes are caused by rapid movements or dislocations of the Earth's underground structure. Several theories have been propounded regarding the reason for these dislocations occurring. Many scientists feel that quakes are a result of the natural geological process that interplays with the force of gravity. Certain earthquakes can be directly associated with volcanoes. The science of seismology is relatively new. Since changes in the Earth's crust take place over thousands of years, scientists have difficulty determining cause and effect. I didn't get past 140 on that. I just felt like it was a little challenging. So I started at 120, worked my way to 140. So our jury charge will be read at 140, okay? That way you get your practice. I'm sorry, we'll be read at 160. Okay, so the subject for the jury charge is evaluating testimony. You're going to hear preponderance of the evidence, intimate. That's about it. Nothing really stands out other than that. Okay. All right. So let's read this at 160. Here we go. I'm just stating this. Ladies and gentlemen, upon the issues here joined, the burden rests upon the plaintiff of proving all the material allegations of the complaint by a fair preponderance of the evidence. By preponderance of evidence is meant the greater weight of the evidence, the greater force with which the evidence on one side or the other appeals to your minds. But if the party having the burden in this case has satisfied you of the truth of his or her contention in that regard, he or she has sustained such issue by a fair preponderance of the evidence. If the evidence is evenly balanced for and against any particular fact in issue, then your finding upon such fact should be against the party having the burden of proof in that regard, since he or she has failed to prove the same by a fair preponderance of the evidence. If you believe from the evidence that any witness has testified falsely, intending thereby to deceive or mislead you as to any material fact or facts in the case, then you have a right to disbelieve the testimony of such witness, except insofar as such testimony is corroborated by other credible testimony. This is a civil case, and you are the exclusive judges of the weight of the evidence and the credibility of the witnesses. In determining the weight you will give to the evidence of any witness, you have a right to take into consideration the demeanor of such witness on the stand, his or her candor and sincerity in testifying, or the lack of the same, his or her interest or lack of interest in the outcome of the suit, his or her knowledge or lack of knowledge concerning the facts about which he or she has testified. His or her prejudice or bias, if any, is shown. His or her relationship, if any, to either party to the suit, and such other facts and circumstances disclosed by the evidence as will assist you in determining the weight you should give to the evidence in the case. Neither by these instructions nor by any words uttered or remark made by the court during this trial does or did the court intimate or mean to give or wish to be understood as giving an opinion as to what the proof is or what it is not, or what the facts are in this case, or what are not the facts therein. It is solely and exclusively for the jury to find and determine the facts, and this they must do from the evidence. Having done so, they apply to them the law as stated in these instructions. The instructions to the jury are and constitute one connected body and series, and should be so regarded and treated by the jury. That is to say, they should apply them to the facts as a whole and not detach or separate any one instruction from any of the others. I have one last thing I want to give you before we start Q&A. This is land description. Okay, all right, here we go. I'm going to read this at 140. All that portion of lot number 50, first concession, township of Yucaipa West, being a strip of land 100 feet in width and 75 feet measured perpendicularly from a center line, which center line may be located as follows, commencing at a point in the south limit of said lot 50, distant 1,225.53 feet, measured north 71 degrees, 35 minutes west, along the south limit from the southeast angle of lot 50 aforesaid, thence north 32 degrees, 15 minutes west, 278.23 feet, thence north 33 degrees, 53 minutes west, 774.30 feet, thence north 34 degrees, 19 minutes west, 38.93 feet, more or less to the north limit of said lot number 50. Okay. Let's move into Q&A. Okay, let me give you a word list for this one. You're going to hear Scott Allen, carry, mark, disposal, exposure, contamination, Salt Lake City, assistance, management, supervisor, research, experiments, pressure, chemical, household, necessities, dissolution. All right, this is going to be plaintiff questioning. And I'll start at 120 and work my way to 140 with this one, okay? And court does jump in as well as defense. Okay, here we go. In March of 2007, you were living with Scott Allen? Yes, I was. Were you married to him at that time? Yes, I was. Was there any pending court action for dissolution of your marriage at that time? No, there wasn't. Did you have a job and were you working at that time? No, I was not. Whom were you dependent upon for the necessities of your life at that time? My husband. Was that Scott? Yes, it was. Was this his only marriage? Yes, it was. And you had one child of that marriage? No, we had 3 children. One died. Then you had 2 living children? 2 children. What are their names? Carrie and Mark. How old is Carrie now? 12 years old. How old is Mark? 9 years old. As far as you know, did your husband have any other children? No. At the time of his death, was anyone else living in your household? Both of our children, Carrie and Mark, and my mother. Are both children in school? Yes. Does your mother work? No, she does not. Insofar as you know, was your husband supporting anyone else other than you, the children, and your mother? No. During the last 1 year of your husband's life, were you familiar with the kind of work he was doing for the Utah Chemical Company? Yes, I was. And what was his job title, if you know, during that last year? Supervisor. Any particular department that you know of? I think he was in the chemical research department. I am going to ask you about a typical day for your husband. Can you tell us when he would normally arise to go to work? About 6 o'clock. That is 6 a.m. or p.m. In the morning. And what time would he get to work in Salt Lake City? About 7. Was that when he was required to report to work at 7? No. Why would he get there at 7 then? He had to set up jobs for his assistants. This was his normal habit to arrive at 7? Yes, it was. What time would he come home? Around 6. The men in his department stopped at 4:30? That is right. Well, then why would he not get home earlier than 6 o'clock if the work stopped at 4:30? He had to do the paperwork. How many days a week did he work? Again, we are speaking about the last 1 year. How many days a week did he work usually? Usually 6. Well, did he work every Saturday? Well, there were very few he didn't work. Are you familiar with what his job was at Utah Chemical? What he did? During the last 5 years, he was a supervisor. You know specifically what he was doing? Did he discuss it with you? Yes. From your conversations with your husband, what is your understanding as to what he did at work? Well, he had men working for him. They had to conduct experiments and tests. He listened to the complaints of workers and their problems, and he also had to listen to management. At the end of the day, did he ever talk about his work with you? Yes, he did. After work and when he would discuss his work with you, what did he say? He was under a lot of pressure. He was nervous about the careless way the company handled the chemicals and their disposal. What were his exact words as far as you can recall? What would he say? Well, he usually expressed himself by saying he was very worried about exposure and contamination to himself and the other employees. Okay. All right, how are we doing on time? Oh, good, we're doing good. Okay, so I've got another Q&A here. This is going to start with defense questioning. Let me just state this so I know we covered it. All right. All right, here we go. And this one I'm going to read at 160, okay? Here we go. And that last one, I started at 120 and I got to 140. Mrs. Mason, I believe that you are the respondent in this cause. Is that correct? Yes, sir. You are the former wife of James Trenton Mason? Yes, sir. And you were you obtained a divorce from him in 2009? Yes, sir. And subsequent to your obtaining the divorce, can you tell the court whether or not he remarried? Yes, he did. Was the person that he remarried the same person mentioned in your adultery case? Yes, sir. And to your knowledge, did he and his present wife, do they continue to reside together as man and wife? As far as I know, yes. Were you aware that she had children by a prior marriage? Yes, sir. And were you aware of the fact that he is supporting and educating those children? Yes. Now you understand that he has brought this action to eliminate from the former order of the court the 18-year-old child who is deceased, having died in an automobile collision. You understand that? Yes, sir. And also he is asking the court to eliminate the support for the 18-year-old child. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Is there any issue that you had one child who died as a result of injuries received in an automobile collision? Is there an issue? No. That did happen, though. That did happen. Okay, that is factual. Is there an issue about whether or not he should be relieved from the duty and obligation to support Robert Phillip Mason, who is 18 years old? I don't agree with that. Mrs. Mason, when did Robert Phillip Mason become 18 years of age? December the 10th of last year, 2016. At the time he became 18 years of age, what was he doing? He was attending Greenview High School. And what grade was he in at Greenview High School? He was a senior. Did he graduate in the normal course from Greenview High School? Yes, sir. And he graduated in May or June of 2017? June the 3rd. What is Robert Phillip Mason now doing here in September of 2017? He is a freshman at the University of Southern Illinois. Has his tuition for at least the first semester been paid? Yes, sir. Will you tell the court who paid the tuition? Philip and I did. Will you tell the court what amount the tuition was that you paid? It's been about $20,900, including his books, the textbooks, and all of the other items that go into that. And are you making available to him any subsistence allowance while he is at school? I'm trying to give him $200 a week, which is not enough, but he's going to have to do it. He's used to that. And tell me this, Mrs. Mason, does that son have any physical impairment or problems? Yes, sir, he has since the spring of 2008. And what is the general nature of his problems? He has grand mal epilepsy. Is the condition which he has, is it disabling to any degree? Only to the extent that he has seizures from time to time. Has he been treated by Dr. Phillip's group here in Greenview? Yes, sir, and by Dr. Elsie. And is he taking a prescriptive drug for the control of this condition? Yes. Is this an email from the Children's Clinic, Dr. McClain, regarding his condition? Yes, sir. Mrs. Mason, can you give us the approximate cost per year for the prescriptive drugs necessary to be taken by your son and the approximate cost of his medical attention on a yearly basis for Philip? Can you give us an approximation? I think his medications are about $150 a month just for the seizure control. He also has asthma too and has to take medication for that, which varies with the season of the year. His medical bills are between $1,300 and $2,400 a year, just his, not dental. And who has been paying the medical bills for your son? I have, just me. And have you been paying those medical bills out of the allowance allowed to you by the court or by the order of this court? Yes, sir. I'll ask you whether or not since 2009 there has been any increase in the cost of living in support of these children. Yes, sir, there certainly has. Can you give us an estimation of the percentage-wise of the increase in the cost of living during the last 8 years? Well, the cost of living increase, and as the children grow, things for them cost more. It's more than doubled. More than doubled. In connection with the other child of the marriage, will you tell the court what her age is and what she is now doing? She's 15 and she's attending school, high school. Is she living with you? Yes, sir. Does she have any medical problems or dental problems at this time which require treatment? She has a dental problem that has required treatment for several years, and I haven't been able to do it. My son Wade was having orthodontic work done at the time of his death, and I couldn't do both of them at the same time. So my daughters had to be put off. Okay, and she being the youngest child, you were having to put that off with her? Yes, sir. I will ask you whether or not she is being seen by Dr. Irwin Warren in Elgin. Yes, sir. Is he an orthodontist? Yes, he is. Is this a report from him, signed by him, indicating what her condition is and what is required to do the work that is required? Yes, it is. Mrs. Mason, are there any outstanding medical bills owed for the treatment of either of these two children at this time? Yes, there are. I will hand you these objects, and would you tell the court what they represent and what they are? They are dental bills. I had a running account with Dr. Atkinson, which I'm paying off at $140 a month. And those dental bills are for services performed for whom? For Phillip and Elizabeth and for Wade. Okay. Let's switch transcripts. How are you doing on time? Good. Got lots of time. We'll do read back too. All right. This looks like plaintiff's questioning. All right. Here we go. I'll read this at 160. Did Mr. Smith tell you why it was that he shot Mr. Gates? Mr. Smith told me that he believed that Mr. Gates was going to return to his house, and Mr. Gates was going to return to Mr. Gates' house and retrieve a firearm. Did Mr. Smith tell you that he shot Mr. Gates because he didn't want to be a snitch and wanted to handle it on the streets? Yes. Objection leading. For the purpose of the preliminary hearing, I don't have a problem. Overruled. Did Mr. Smith make any statements to you about earning respect for Mr. Gates? Mr. Smith, I had Mr. Smith why he did not call the police when he returned to his apartment prior to chasing Gates down, and he told me that he didn't want to be a snitch and that he doesn't get any respect if he calls the cops, and that he needs to handle his business on the street himself. During your, well, with regard to Mr. Lawson, did you ask Mr. Smith if Mr. Lawson goes by a moniker? Yes, I did. What did he tell you? He told me that he knows him as Shasta, but everybody calls him, he knows him as, Smith knows him as Eli and Shasta, but everybody calls him ES. Who are we talking about now? Who are we talking about? I think I'm lost. She's asking about Mr. Lawson. Who is Lawson? Shasta. Why do I care about Lawson? He's pled out. Who cares? He has. Okay. When you made contact with Mr. Gates, did Mr. Gates refer to Mr. Lawson as Shasta? Mr. Gates? Yes. Mr. Gates refers to Lawson as Shasta. Nothing further. Okay, counsel. Well, Your Honor, may I ask a few questions? Yes, I was going to ask if you had any cross-examination. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. The gunshots that Mr. Gates received to his body, yes. When you saw Mr. Gates, where were the gunshots on Mr. Gates' body? The gunshots that I could see, he had one. Mr. Gates had one to his, I believe it was his upper right arm. It looked like a through and through hit. And then one would be in his upper torso. It could have been a through and through hit that went, through his arm and into his chest. When you say upper torso, you're pointing near your armpit, under my armpit, rib cage area, the right side, on the victim's right side. Okay. And he was bleeding from his back, but they didn't roll him over so that we could, so that we could see that, any of those wounds. Okay, so then am I correct in assuming that Mr. Gates was laying on his stomach when you saw Mr. Gates? Mr. Gates was lying on his back. He was lying on his back. What do you mean they rolled him? I said that they could not roll him, or they did not roll him, to allow us to see if there were any wounds on his backside. Okay? They were trying to maintain C-spine. Did you see any wounds to his stomach? By him, I mean Mr. Gates. I don't recall any wounds, any fresh wounds to his stomach. I was busy trying to take pictures of the scene. What about wounds to the chest on Mr. Gates? I don't recall any other than on his right side, upper torso. You said that there was an ongoing problem between Mr. Smith and Mr. Gates. What kind of a problem? How? Well, I think what you said was that the problem was with the son, Mr. Gates' son, right? Well, I have two sides to the story. I have Mr. Gates saying that Kyle Smith has been mean, mugging those were his exact words that Mr. Smith used. What does that mean? I guess mad dogging, staring him down, and Mr. Smith denies that there has ever been any issues between himself and the victim's son. So as far as you know, when the argument started out, it was actually Mr. Gates that had a problem with Mr. Smith over Mr. Gates' son, right? I truly believe that. Okay, and then while this problem was going on, did Mr. Smith ever tell you that he actually had a problem with Mr. Gates over this? Did Mr. Smith tell me that he had a problem with Mr. Gates? Oh, Mr. Smith was just upset that he kept being encountered by Mr. Gates over this same issue that Mr. Smith believed was squashed. Right, a non-issue, correct? Exactly. So it really was Mr. Gates that kept, more or less, pestering Mr. Smith, right, over this problem? Mr. Gates continued to approach Mr. Smith, according to Mr. Smith. Okay, in the recorded statement that you did with Mr. Smith, after you arrived back to California, did Mr. Smith tell you that when the shooting occurred, Mr. Gates had either a screwdriver or a knife? Did he tell me that he had? The shooting didn't occur. He said that he was confronted by Mr. Gates, who had what he believed would be a screwdriver and a knife. The shooting didn't take place until after Mr. Smith went up to his room, got his gun, followed, chased him down in the park, and then shot him. So what I'm asking you is this. I'm asking you, after Mr. Smith retrieved his gun and he went out in the park and he allegedly shot Mr. Gates, did Mr. Gates have a knife or a screwdriver at the time that Mr. Smith allegedly shot him? You're asking me if I know what Mr. Gates had a knife or a screwdriver at that time? I do not know. Mr. Smith did not say that he displayed a knife or a screwdriver. According to the victim, Mr. Gates, he says that he never had a knife or a screwdriver. Just so I can be clear, upon Mr. Smith retrieving the gun and going out to the park, Mr. Smith didn't tell you that Mr. Gates at that time or Mr. Smith allegedly shot Mr. Gates when he allegedly had a knife or a screwdriver? No. Did Mr. Smith tell you that Mr. Gates threatened to kill him? Yes, he did. Did he say kill him with what? Did he say what he was going to kill him with? He told him that he was going to leave and get his homies, and this was across the street from the park during the initial confrontation. I'm sorry, Detective Hearns. When we say he was going to go get his homies, who was going to go get the homies? Yes, we need clarification. You asked if Mr. Gates, that would be the he. Mr. Gates said that he was going to go get his homies. Okay, and then what happened? Mr. Smith went upstairs and retrieved his gun. And is it true that Mr. Smith told you that Mr. Gates said that he was actually going to go get a gun? I'm sorry, what? Is it true that Mr. Gates told Mr. Smith? I'm sorry, strike that. Is it true that Mr. Smith told you that Mr. Gates said that he was going to go get a gun? I don't recall. Who is the he in that? Is it true that Mr. Smith told you that Mr. Gates said that Mr. Gates was going to go get a gun? Okay, if I understand this correctly, I don't recall Mr. Smith telling me that Mr. Gates had told him that he himself was going to go get a gun. He said that he was going to, Mr. Gates said that he was going to go get his homies. I don't know. 4, 5, 6, I don't know. I'm not a gang expert, but I took it to mean that, maybe he was going to get his buddies, his cousins, family, I don't know. Okay, and then when Mr. Smith retrieved the gun and came back to the park and encountered Mr. Gates, you said that Mr. Smith said he couldn't let Mr. Gates do this? Yeah, it was words to that effect. Mr. Smith told me that he had told Gates, I can't let you do this. And did you ask Mr. Smith what he meant by, I can't let you do this? Yes. What did he mean by that? He didn't elaborate. So he didn't say Mr. Smith did not say? Uh-huh. And you said that Mr. Smith, when you asked him, why didn't you ask the cops? Mr. Smith said because he couldn't get respect like that, correct? He didn't want to be a snitch. Did he also say he couldn't get respect? Yes. Did he say who he wasn't going to get respect from? No. Okay, I have no further questions. Anything else? No. All right, thank you. Ms. Brown, the people call Deputy Johnson. Okay, you do solemnly state that the evidence you shall give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, Thank you. Please be seated. Please state and spell your name for the record. My name is Tom Johnson, Tomjohnson. Good morning. Good morning, Ms. Brown. Good morning, Deputy Johnson. Good morning. What is your occupation? Deputy Sheriff. Who is your employer? Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. For how long have you been so employed? 4 years. What is your current assignment? Currently assigned to the Santa Barbara City Gang Team. Prior to becoming a sworn law enforcement officer, did you attend an academy? Yes, ma'am. During your attendance at that academy, did you participate in a post-certified course that dealt with taking reports and testifying at preliminary hearings? Yes. Was that? Strike that. Did you successfully complete the course? Yes. Could you please describe for us your training and experience with regards to gangs and gang investigations? Yes. Prior to becoming a sworn deputy, I attended a 6-month training academy through the Sheriff's Department, during which I received an 8-hour block of instruction on gang awareness. After being sworn as a deputy, I was assigned to the Los Angeles Rehabilitation Center. During my time at Los Angeles Rehabilitation Center, I contacted several hundred low-level criminal street gang members, including members from the African American and Hispanic outlaw motorcycle gangs. During my contact with those gang members, I learned aspects of gang subculture such as ranking structure, taxation, gang policies, punishment for noncompliance, things of that nature. I was also assigned the A Block housing unit, where I contacted hardened criminal street gang members, members of the Aliso Brotherhood and Mexican Mafia. After my assignment in Los Angeles, I was assigned to Los Angeles Police Station. During my time there, I've contacted several hundred gang members during arrests, investigations, traffic stops, pedestrian checks, consensual encounters. During those contacts with criminal street gang members, I have learned aspects of gang subculture, such as gang tattoos, gang paraphernalia, patterns of criminal street gang activities, and gang territories. Also, during my time at Los Angeles Station, I have written several search warrants for gang paraphernalia during gang investigations. I have also been a part of several smash sweeps in which I contact gang members, interview them, discuss current gang trends, gang policies, things of that nature. Throughout my time as a deputy sheriff, I have attended a 24-hour block instruction on advanced gang awareness. I have also conducted approximately 140 hours of research on gang subculture and lifestyle as far as Hispanic gangs, African American gangs, outlaw motorcycle gangs. I have also watched approximately 16 hours of documentaries on gang subculture and lifestyle on the same type of gangs. To keep my current gang knowledge up to date, I attend monthly meetings in which all Los Angeles gang investigators meet and discuss current gang crime trends and their current investigations. Oh, wow, that was great sustained dictation there. Okay, let's just do one page read back, okay? And I'll read this once at 120, 140, and then 160, okay? This is going to be defense, and you're going to hear survivor, bail bondsman, particular, discussion, wallet, evening. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to read this first time at 120. And it's defense. Here we go. Ready? Is that a man that's seated here in the courtroom now? Yes. How long did those 3 men remain there at your home? Well, the exact time I really couldn't say, but whatever time that survivor was off the TV is when they left. Was it during the evening? Yes. Before midnight? Yes. Did the three men leave together? Yes. Before they left, was there any discussion or talk going on about any particular thing that evening? Yes. They were supposed to go and see a bail bondsman to get my oldest son out of jail on bail. Is that the reason that they left, as far as you could tell? Yes. Now, did your husband have a wallet that evening? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket that you could see? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket in the presence or in the place where Mr. Thomas was at that time? Yes. Was that in your home? Yes. And for what purpose did your husband take his wallet out of his pocket in front of Mr. Thomas, looking for his bail bondsman's card? Was there money in the wallet? Yes. Was that visible? Yes. All right, second time at 140. Is that a man that's seated here in the courtroom now? Yes. How long did those three men remain there at your home? Well, the exact time I really couldn't say, but whatever time that survivor was off the TV is when they left. Was it during the evening? Yes. Before midnight? Yes. Did the three men leave together? Yes. Before they left, was there any discussion or talk going on about any particular thing that evening? Yes. They were supposed to go and see a bail bondsman to get my oldest son out of jail on bail. Is that the reason that they left, as far as you could tell? Yes. Now, did your husband have a wallet that evening? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket that you could see? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket in the presence or in the place where Mr. Thomas was at that time? Yes. Was that in your home? Yes. And for what purpose did your husband take his wallet out of his pocket in front of Mr. Thomas, looking for his bail bondsman's card? Was there money in the wallet? Yes. Was that visible? Yes. All right, last time at 160. Here we go. Is that a man that's seated here in the courtroom now? Yes. How long did those three men remain there at your home? Well, the exact time I really couldn't say, but whatever time that survivor was off the TV is when they left. Was it during the evening? Yes. Before midnight? Yes. Did the three men leave together? Yes. Before they left, was there any discussion or talk going on about any particular thing that evening? Yes. They were supposed to go and see a bail bondsman to get my oldest son out of jail on bail. Is that the reason that they left, as far as you could tell? Yes. Now, did your husband have a wallet that evening? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket that you could see? Yes. Did he take his wallet out of his pocket in the presence or in the place where Mr. Thomas was at that time? Yes. Was that in your home? Yes. And for what purpose did your husband take his wallet out of his pocket in front of Mr. Thomas, looking for his bail bondsman's card? Was there money in the wallet? Yes. Was that visible? Yes. All right. How did that feel?
Good.
Good. All right. So, if you want, I can take the first Q&A.
Sure.
Okay. You just tell me when you're ready. Oops.
One second.
Okay, yep, no worries.
Okay.
All right. So defense question, is that a man that's seated here in the courtroom now? Answer, yes.
Question, how long did those 3 men remain there in your home? Answer, well, the exact time I really couldn't say, but whatever time that survivor was off the TV is when they left.
Awesome. Question, was it during the evening? Answer, yes.
Question, before midnight? Answer, yes.
Question, did the 3 men leave together? Answer, yes.
Question, before they left, was there any discussion or talk going on about any particular thing that evening? Answer, yes. They were supposed to go and see a bail bondsman to get my oldest son out of jail on bail.
Good question. Is that the reason that they left? As far as you could tell, answer yes.
Question, now, did your husband have a wallet that evening? Answer, yes.
Question, did he take his wallet out of his pocket that you could see? Answer, yes.
Question, did he take his wallet out of his pocket in the presence or in the place where Mr. Thomas was at that time? Answer, yes.
Question, was that in your home? Answer, yes.
Question, and for what purpose did your husband take his wallet out of his pocket in front of Mr. Thomas? Answer, looking for his bail bondsman's card.
Question, was there money in the wallet? Answer, yes.
Question, was that visible? Answer, yes.
Awesome. Awesome job. Great. All right. Great job. Are you going to be able to attend tomorrow's class?
I will be in the evening class tomorrow, but I will not be in the morning class.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I will see you tomorrow evening.
All right. See you then.
Okay. Have a great night. Thanks for attending live.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.